Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Creator News Live. So excited that you're here again. It's been a minute since we had my friend Amanda Robinson back on the show. So this is going to be fun. We we did Social Media Marketing World a lot together. We hung out at different conferences. So Amanda's even come through Longview, where I'm from, and we were able to hang out that time. So I'm so excited to have her back on the show. She is my go-to person when it comes to meta ads and all the new changes. So there's some exciting things we're going to be talking about today. But I want to make this show all about you, so ask your questions down below wherever you're watching from, because we want to make this show all about you, and we'll bring in your comments, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. I always tease my guests on here. It's like free consulting for me. So she's going to get a lot of questions that I have for some of my stuff. We've got some of our pals already showing up today. We've got Jim Few saying, "Good morning, beautiful people." He must be talking about Amanda and Paul, because I don't know he shouldn't be hitting the sauce that early in the morning. And then we have Ralph, my friend Ralph, saying, "Hello, my friends. Super interested in today's topic." Yeah, so this will be a good one. Ralph is an amazing daily podcaster, so this will be interesting for him. And we got Amy Key saying, Happy Friday to you, Amy." And my amazing friend Chris Stone saying, "Good morning." Chris is an amazing podcast and also a live show host and remote producer. So check him out as well. So this is going to be a fun show. Amanda, how are you doing? And where are you from? Because I never know. Like, where are you at right now? Because you're always traveling around.
Where am I from, or where am I physically located?
Yeah,
at this
where
moment?
you're located. Yeah, exactly.
So where I'm located, I'm on Vancouver Island. I'm from Canada, but I'm based on Vancouver Island, and I'm actually, for once, I think the first time ever, you're catching me at home.
Wow. That is amazing.
But
So usually
right
she's like
this,
on a beach or something. Yeah.
Well, right after this, I'm packaging up my Starlink and packaging up my power gear, and I'm heading off to an island off an island to go and hang out for the week and sit on beaches, and I'll be working on my laptop from the beach. So yeah. The usual. So you're catching this rare glimpse of this one moment where I'm in the reset phase of getting a shower, loading up the food. Yeah.
That's cool. So it's always fun to figure out where you're at. Last time I think you were on the beach, like on this frozen tundra that we were broadcasting from. So it was pretty impressive that we were able to do that. Somebody else who's very impressive is my friend Paul Gowder, who is taking the co-host seat today. Paul, how are things? And tell people where you're from, what you do, real quick, while we're getting started.
Yeah, I'm in Lexington, South Carolina, and I founder of powwows.com. But yeah, it's a good Friday. I'm looking forward to today. I do some ads on Facebook, so I'm really excited to learn, and hopefully I can get some lessons today too.
Paul's being very modest. If you don't know Paul, he's got a million plus Facebook group over at powwows.com, so he knows Facebook as well. So this will be an interesting conversation. Okay, I'm going to hit go on the podcast machine, and we'll get started. Hello, folks. Welcome to Creator News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Paul Gowder, and this is the show that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the world of the creator economy and so much more.
You ever tried running Facebook ads and felt, a little, out of your depth? Are you wondering which of Meta's shiny new AI tools actually work for small businesses? Or maybe you're ready to take your ad strategy beyond just boosting posts, but really aren't sure where to start. If that sounds familiar, you are in the right place, because today we're talking with my good friend Amanda Robinson about Facebook ads, because she knows them inside and out. She's helped thousands of business owners cut through the confusion and create campaigns that deliver real results. So she's going to be sharing her journey through all of this Facebook learning, her strategies, and her best advice for making ads work in 2025. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind to get ready for this week's episode of Creator News Live. Amanda, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I'm happy to see your smiling faces, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to geek out on Facebook and Instagram ads with you today.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, because it is a lot of people are really scared about this. But Paul, I'll let you take it away with Amanda's official introduction.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. So, Amanda, we're excited to hear what you have to say. But Amanda is the powerhouse behind The Digital Gal. She's a Meta certified lead trainer, Facebook ad strategist, international speaker, and co-author of The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. She's known for her engaging, high-impact teaching style. Amanda helps business owners cut through the chaos of Meta ads with her swift kick in the ads membership. Love the name. And custom trainings. Whether she's speaking on stage, consulting with clients, or running workshops for business owners, she brings clarity, creativity, and those aha moments that make Meta ads finally make sense. If you've ever felt lost in Meta Business Suite every day, Amanda is the guy that you didn't know you needed. So welcome.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much.
And so I'll put this too, because if you ever see Amanda speak at a conference, she's amazing. Like even, I've talked with her in the hallways. I've seen her do presentations. She's really, really good. So if you need that sort of thing, make sure you reach out to Amanda. We'll make sure to put all that information also in the show notes. So we're going to kick it off just right off the bat, Amanda, because a lot of, Facebook ads could be a little overwhelming even in the beginning, but now they've added kind of another layer with these AI tools. And I want to talk about leveraging the AI tools without losing like your human touch in this, because as more and more of the AI stuff comes out, I mean, ChatGPT just rolled out version 5 yesterday. More stuff is coming down the pike. So I kind of want to talk about the AI hype versus the reality. So AI is supposed to revolutionize Facebook advertising, but you kind of noted, I think it was in Mike Alton's podcast that he did for Regular Pulse, which is an amazing episode you all need to check out. But you said it's kind of in its clunky teenage phase. So in practical terms, where are these new AI-driven features actually helping marketers, and where do they still need maybe a little work without human input?
So to kind of package this in a way that's easy to understand, imagine if you're an advertiser and you're just comfortable at clicking the boost post button and you don't really know what you're doing, and you have traditionally hit the boost post button and relied on Meta's tools to deliver those ads, and you have a whole bunch of people saying, well, Meta ads don't work for me, or the boost post is wasting your money. Meta's AI tools are going to really help you navigate through that at the level of what a professional advertiser would be doing. So Meta's AI tools are really taking the load of the heavy lifting to be more strategic. So that's the plus. I do want to specify that we have kind of two compartments of talking about Meta's AI tools as it pertains to advertising. So you have Meta has their Llama LLM. You can chat with it the exact same way that you could chat with ChatGPT. It can learn about you. You can upload documents. You can do everything with it, and you can access it on desktop or on mobile. It's very easy to use. So there's that version of AI with Meta. But as it pertains to advertising, when we're looking at it through the lens of the advertising landscape, you have Meta's Advantage Plus suite of tools. So if you're navigating anywhere through creating an ad and you see anything that says Advantage Plus, whether that's Advantage Plus Creative or Advantage Plus Budget, Advantage Plus Placements, Advantage Plus Audience, all of these Advantage Plus tools, that's AI. And that's AI that's going to kick in and do some of that heavy lifting for you. And yes, it is in its clunky teenage phase on the advertising platform at the moment. I love meta advertising. I love teaching businesses how to use it for themselves. And I love inspiring people how to use it in a positive way. So I don't like speaking negative about anything meta advertising. And I'm not speaking negative about AI relating to meta advertising, but I'm definitely going to be calling out where it just still needs a little more time to tweak and integrate into the existing tools that we're already using. So imagine having software that's launched and live and millions of people are using it, and then trying to push live updates into it and just like hope it works. It's more complex than that. And so while we've been watching Meta rapidly integrate new Meta AI tools throughout the advertising ads manager and through the back end of advertising, there have been some hiccups, that is for sure. So anyone of you out there who have been advertising lately and have seen results dip or been frustrated, I feel you. I'm here with you. We're all in the same boat, and don't worry, hang in there. I think we're going to see a giant leap in effectiveness pretty soon.
So real quick question. This is a follow-up, Paul, then I'll let you get to yours. The question I have is, so you mentioned so I haven't created any ads since the new AI stuff. That's why the show is great for me. So the question I have, you mentioned uploading and it learns about you using their Llama thing. Does that have any crossover into ads? Like, will it know me and my business? Like, if I have that memory in ChatGPT, will ads remember that if I'm trying to create new ads or not? Or is that totally separate?
For the purpose of how it's functioning right now, we're going to say those things are separate.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
So what you can use Meta's AI separately to help create your images or to create your ad copy, the same way that you would use other tools like ChatGPT or any of your other AI tools. So you can use that and then extract from there and then go into Meta's ad platform, upload your information. But where I do find that Meta's AI is really helping a lot of businesses is Meta really needs a large volume of creative to make your ads successful. So think about it this way. Instead of creating a single ad and putting that one ad out there with your ad text and your link that it's going to, imagine taking that ad and making 10 different variations. And then imagine giving your text 5 different variations and 5 different headlines and tweaking your call to action so that Meta's AI can mix and match these things. So think about it where that one ad is the one ad concept, but it might have lots of different variants of images and lots of different variants of text that are accompanying that. So that's where Meta's built-in AI tools for AI creative is coming in really handy, where Meta's going to be suggesting some headlines for you and suggesting some other primary text variants based on where you're sending that traffic to, your historically what you've been saying in your ads. So it's going to be taking that information, learning from that, and helping you craft better ad copy and better headlines. But it's still clunky. So when I say better headlines and better, it can sometimes I look at the suggestions, I'm like, oh, Meta, that was good. Yes, I'll take that, please. I'll take 2 of those.
Right.
And then other times I'm like, where are you pulling this from? Did you wake up drunk today? Like, it depends. It depends. So it's really good for inspiration, for helping you craft alternate variations. And it's really helpful for helping business owners understand that you do need a high volume of creative and you need multiple creative variations. Think of these like all like puzzle pieces. You have control over some of these puzzle pieces, but you're basically handing them all over to Meta and saying, okay, you go assemble the puzzle for me. I've given you the basics, but you're going to put it together and you're going to mix and match this in a whole bunch of different ways to attract my audience in the best way that Meta possible. And it does work. We need to, as advertisers, we really have to learn to sort of let go of that perfectionism and that control that we used to have over our ads. So, for example, when Meta's AI Advantage Plus creative started creeping in and sprinkling into the system, people would have headlines or text, and all of a sudden Meta would slap on top of their image in a big brown banner that had no connection to their brand colors. And the clients would see this and they would freak out and say, what are you doing? Like, are you new? Is it your first day advertising? Get that down. I don't want this.
Right.
But by allowing Meta to have these variations and allowing them to mix and match these puzzle pieces and assemble things in different ways, whether it's putting an enhanced headline on something, whether it's allowing it to expand your images or enhance your images or crop your images or add music onto things, what you're essentially doing is allowing Meta more of a runway to place those ads in more placements where your potential audience is. So if your ads aren't properly formatted for the different placements, for example, Reels or the Facebook video feed or Marketplace or News Feed or Instagram News Feed, if your ads aren't properly formatted for those places, then they're considered lower quality. And if an ad is lower quality, it can't compete head-to-head in the auction against other advertisers also going after your same audience. So if your ads are considered low quality, they're not winning. Or if they are delivering, they're costing you so much more money anyway. So Meta's trying to do you a favor. They're trying to repackage up these ads with what you've given them, and they're trying to get you in front of more people where those people are in those placements, so it's formatted in a way where people are more likely to engage. It just might not look the way that you think it should look, or it might not reflect your brand exactly how you want it to. And I'm saying yet, because I still feel like these tools are in rapid evolution right now, and we will get there. But right now, I've got examples of where it's kind of gone rogue. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to ask about the Advantage Plus thing. I remember creating the ads a few years ago. It was awesome because all the targeting, you could build this really customized audience. But now with Advantage Plus, I'm hearing that we need to trust Meta to create the audience and find the audience for us. So can you give examples of where you think that really works? And like for creators out there, how do we kind of navigate letting AI find our audience versus, really wanting to target our audience?
So what you're talking about is Meta's AI audiences, essentially Advantage Plus audiences. What Meta is doing is it's using everything from your picture, the image or video that you're uploading, and it can contextually understand what is in that image or video. If you have a picture of a woman and a dog, it understands what's happening in that image or that video. And then it's looking at the text that you're supplying, and it's also looking at the landing pages or the destinations where you are sending people, and it's reading that information too. So it's taking all of this information into account and saying, well, based on what I'm seeing here, this is your ideal audience over here. and it's making that connection for you and delivering your ads to people who are most likely to respond. So where that's critical is if you are a brand, and say, for example, I'll give you some real estate examples right now. We're trying to reach people that are, say, 45 plus. But if you have pictures of young children playing, these ads are starting to skew to a much younger audience. And when we are working in real estate, we fall into a special ads category that prevents us from discriminating, meaning we can't choose our age range. We can't choose to deliver to a certain age. So we really have to rely on our creative to do the heavy lifting, to show the system and the algorithm and the AI who we're trying to connect with, and really rely heavily on our creative to do our targeting now. Whereas back in the day, way back in the day, when it was the wild west of targeting, we could say, I want this specifically to go to, people of this income level who live in this zip code and who have an interest in this type of housing. We used to be able to do that. We can't do that anymore. So that's a real estate specific example, but that also somewhat pertains now to almost all businesses and all niches right now. What I mean by that is our advertising tactics. This I would say this shift has happened in about the last year. A year ago, we could still kind of go in and use our interest-based targeting, our behavior-based targeting, and really get granular and fine-tune our target audiences. And we'd have multiple different audiences that we'd be testing and running against each other at the same time. Now, it feels like the more that you try to specify and narrow in on exactly what you want, the more the system is like, click this little checkbox. We're just going to expand your audience for you anyway. Like, go ahead. We're just going to, you don't even have to click it. We've automatically turned it on. Oh, you turned off that checkbox because you don't want to expand it, but then you clicked back a screen, came back again. We turned it on for you again. They're just automatically expanding these audiences. And I believe part of that is that you're competing for attention span, and attention span is flip-flopping on lots of different platform choices right now. People can spend their time on lots of different social media platforms, and they've all got skin in the game. Mm-hmm. So in order to keep the attention span on Meta's platforms, the content has to be very high quality. So when it comes to reaching your audiences, the more narrow and more specific you're going, you're probably going very specific, the same way another advertiser is going very specific, the same way another advertiser is going very specific, and you're all competing for a high quality, super expensive audience in high quality placements. Not all of us are going to win. So Meta is trying to spread that out and allow AI to start taking over some of that work. And let me put it this way. AI is helping most advertisers in this arena because most advertisers are not experts in layering on their audiences and figuring out how to use the system to get exactly the audience they want. Advertisers who have been doing this for years and years and years, absolutely. We've got our audiences dialed in. We know what we want. We know how to work the system. But the majority of advertisers coming on this system are business owners like you and me and people who don't live inside the back end of Facebook ads like I do every day. Right. So most people, it's a guessing game. They're like, I don't know. I think this is a target audience I could go after. I could go after that too. Well, maybe I'll go after these people too. And before you know it, it's a jumbled mess of who they think they're targeting. Mm-hmm. So Meta's AI, the AI Advantage Plus targeting is kind of stepping in and going, you know what? You just sit down. I got you. Let me help you get this in front of the right people and it'll be fine. So for the majority of businesses out there, Meta's AI is helping you big time, and it's wonderful. For some of us other advertisers, though, that have more specific strategies that we need to execute on to manage our budgets, it's kind of throwing us for a loop right now. I'll give you an example where recently I talked to somebody, one of the members in Swift Kicking the Ads, and she was working with a client where their product needs to go in front of teenage girls. That's who their target audience is, and that's who they're selling to. So they set up their ads, and they're asking to target women. So it's very clear they're setting up to target women. Well, Meta's AI Advantage Plus, we're going to deliver this to males. Oh, I think I might be.
Yeah, say that last part again. You glitched a little bit.
I just glitch a little. So Meta's AI targeting kicks in and is like, you know what? I know you asked for females. You want to deliver this to females, but we're just going to deliver it to everybody. And all of a sudden, a bunch of males are clicking on it. Uh-oh. So now that engagement is leading everything astray, and now all of those ads started delivering to men. Well, they're not selling to men. It's useless. Sales are dipping, ad costs are rising, everything isn't working the way it's supposed to. But when you look at the ad setup, the advertiser set everything up properly, but Meta just kicked in that little Advantage Plus AI targeting. It's like, we're going to help you. I'm like, you're not helping. You're really not helping.
Yeah.
So that's an example of where where we've taken our traditional advertising skills that have always been working for a long time, and all of a sudden Meta's throwing a big wrench in it with AI. That's one example. But then you have other advertisers that are jumping on the platform, don't have a lot of experience, and all of a sudden they are advertising at a level that an expert consultant who you have to pay thousands of dollars to get on the platform and help you, Meta's AI is stepping in and is able to achieve that for some advertisers, for some businesses. I'm sure it will be a lot more useful and helpful as we're all on this AI journey together.
Well, I have some follow-up questions to that, but I wanted to bring up really quick of our amazing audience. Chris Stone says, better options, less taking shots in the dark, still needs human judgment. So that is very, very true. And then very helpful tool for Mr. Jones here.
Gibran.
Spot on, Amanda.
Gibran is one of my fellow certified Meta lead trainers who also travels all over North America teaching and speaking on behalf of Meta, as well as with his own business. So he's a brilliant mind in this exact same space. So if you don't know Gibran, go and follow him. He is wonderful.
We have two amazing people on. That's just a win all around. So real quick, I wanted to you guys, as we're going along, if you have questions about Meta ads, make sure you ask them, because I will hog all of Amanda's time asking him my own questions. And I know Paula feels the same way. One of the questions that when you were saying that AI is trying to level the playing field for everybody, and as it gets better, it's going to do that. So you're not competing against those really expensive, ads. If it's leveling it for everybody, what's going to set it apart down the road when it's really, really, really good? Is it going to come down to your creative assets, like you've crafted the perfect image? Because I'm kind of trying to think in the future, if everybody's trying to get leveled out, then how are you going to be up there in the feed?
I love this question because I feel like AI is finally shining a spotlight on the reality of what it takes to run a business. If you run a good business and you provide a great service, you have wonderful customers, and you are doing great things, you can't you're going to be successful. You're going to do well. AI is going to help accelerate all of that feedback and all of these wonderful things that you're doing. When it comes to Facebook or Instagram advertising, one of the things I say to clients or people who approach me is that I can only help you amplify what's working. If you come to me with something that's broken, I'm going to amplify it. We're going to uncover it real quick, and you're going to spend a lot of money to find out something in your system isn't working properly, or this thing that you're trying to sell maybe isn't selling the best, or we're going to shine a spotlight on it real quick once we start amplifying. So if you run a good business, when you start amplifying, these things are just going to continue amplifying for you, and you're going to continue to see success. But for those businesses who happened to have had some digital marketing skills, and they're really good at dancing around the digital marketing landscape and convincing you need this product, or this is something I can sell to you, but at the end of the day, the business isn't great, the product isn't great, the reviews aren't wonderful, we don't really need this product, it was a little bit of a fad that came and went. I think those businesses are going to get that spotlight shone on them, and they're going to get phased out. I think AI, as it pertains to advertising, when I say it's leveling the playing field, I think what it's going to do is really lift up those businesses that are doing great work and have always been doing great work. And I think it's going to expose businesses that have been using fancy tools to
hoodwink
just us.
yeah. Hoodwink.
Hoodwink us into purchasing things we don't need or don't want or aren't a great product. So I think that's going to be, like, I'm not worried or concerned about it. And I'm also not, I was asked recently if I'm worried about AI replacing what I do, for example. And I've always said, I'm not going to be doing Facebook ads forever. Facebook ads aren't always going to be a thing forever. But Meta as a company is evolving. New tools are rolling out. Jeff, you've known me for years. How many wearables have I had over the years? From Snapchat Spectacles version 1 and 2 to now the Meta Ray-Ban glasses version 1 and 2, now with AI. AI is being integrated into our wearables, And I believe we're going to see a future rolling through with that. And as businesses, as marketers, we're going to need to learn tactics and ways to adopt that into our workflow or into how we interact with customers. So I believe that Meta's advertising landscape isn't going to look the way it has for the last decade. We're going to evolve and change. And I hope I get phased out of doing exactly what I'm doing. And I hope that I get to grow with these platforms and grow with these tools and just grow with businesses and help them as I always have been. It just looks different, whatever year you're in.
That's right. That's a great way to say it. So yeah, thank you. Because I was like, okay, if it's going to be level, then, it's the question, no matter what type of thing for AI, like, okay, how is this going to look? And so thanks for that. That was really spot on.
Yeah, and Jabron has a good question. So you mentioned real estate, some of these restricted areas, politics, finance. So how do we navigate that within ads?
So when it comes, AI isn't really influencing that much at all at the moment. We're still kind of using the same tactics we always have to. You can't circumvent the special ads categories, and these special ads categories prevent discrimination by eliminating your ability to choose age or gender. You can't target tighter than a 15-mile radius around a certain area. You can't target by zip code or postal code, and it strips out so much. I would almost say 90% of the detailed targeting options that regular advertisers would have. So it really does strip out a lot of our ability to fine-tune the targeting. And in the past, when I work with realtors or anybody under a special ads category, essentially what I say is we need to start your advertising really broad. We're going to blanket it out to a very broad audience. But if people are interested in what we have to offer, they're going to engage with us and interact. Those engagements come in the form of likes, clicks, comments, shares, reactions, video views, something proactive. Well, we can build our retargeting audiences around anyone who is engaged with our pages. And as of the time of this recording, that's why it's so important that you're using a Facebook business page or an Instagram business profile, and not just using a Facebook page that's in professional mode, even though you can advertise on those now. You still need a business page for audience building, and you need an ad account associated with that. So with those two things, we can accumulate an audience of anyone who's engaged with your content from the business perspective, and we can retarget them. So if you have a special ads category, retargeting has been your superpower over the years. Attract people with very broad content that attracts your target audience, and then just retarget them with your listings, retarget them with your additional content, retarget them with your offers. And it's been really successful that way. So I'm never scared by the special ads category. It's just like, oh, extra step. Cool, we got this. But what AI is doing is, I would say, let's not focus necessarily on a special ads category for AI and how that's working. The question that does come up all the time are lookalike audiences.
Right.
So back in the day, lookalike audiences used to be all the rage.
Right.
And what that is taking an example of people who have engaged with you, or people who have visited your website, or people who have opened a lead form and not filled it out, or filled it out, people who have taken a specific action that we're tracking, and going to Meta and saying, hey, can you take these people that are doing the thing I want them to do and go find more people just like that? Go find a lookalike of people just like that for me. So we'd have to create these lookalike audiences. We had to supply the source data or tell Meta what source data we wanted to build off of. And the lookalike audience was only as good as the quality of the data we were giving it. Meta's AI audiences right now are essentially a big built-in, baked-in lookalike already. So when you're asking Meta to do advertising, it's already looking at your pixel that you have on your website, who's been clicking on your content, who's been engaging with your content, who's interacted with it, your landing page. Think about it this way. You might fall under, let's pretend you're in real estate, because that's a pretty broad term. Let's say you're in real estate and you have a Facebook pixel on your website. Well, if you're trying to target other people also interested in real estate, how many other realtors out there have a Facebook pixel on their website? Thousands of them, millions. So when you're saying, hey, go find me people who are interested in real estate, Meta knows all of the other users from the platform who've also been clicking on other real estate pages as well. So it can take that information and then help get your ads in front of the right people without you having to tell it specifically, hey, go and find me these exact people. It's always had abilities to do that. That's why having pixels has been very useful and helpful. And that's why having an ad account that you've been running ads through for a long time and training it who your target audience is and having those interactions take place on your content helps train everything so that over time your advertising gets way more dialed in compared to if you just opened up a new ad account today and slapped a bunch of money on it and said, why am I not competing against my competitors right now? It doesn't work that way. But Meta's AI Advantage Plus targeting is really helping us. It's almost replacing lookalike audiences and just
Gotcha.
skipping a bunch of those steps and just helping us get there a lot faster. It's just not perfect yet. That's all.
Gotcha.
But are any of us really?
No, it's perfect. One of the things I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned, having it'll create all these different assets for you, and it's going to test all these different headlines and all that thing. You used to be able to go to like a competitor's Facebook page and go look at the ads they're running. Are you seeing all the variations that the AI is putting out there if you go and do that, or are you like, will it show the focus on the first one? Like, how does that work when you go and do some competitive things?
So you're talking about Meta's Facebook ads library. Anybody
Right.
can go into Meta's ads library, search up any Facebook page and see if they're running ads. Or the other way to do it is to actually go to your competitor's Facebook page and you click on their page transparency.
Right.
And then there's an option to see, it's under their about page transparency and see if they're running ads. And if they are, it can take you directly to the ads library and you can see them. It's just going to give you the kind of what I call like the standard preview, which is like the newsfeed preview.
Gotcha.
So it's going to show you what it might look like in the Facebook newsfeed. And you'll also see little icons to tell you if it's running on Facebook, Instagram, the Audience Network. And now we have we have Threads targeting now, which is wonderful. Or
Cool.
placements, sorry.
Okay.
But so you'll be able to see, for the most part, when I go to the ads library to check out what other advertisers are doing, for the most part, if I see a whole bunch of ads that look similar, they've just started running in the last month, and they have all those little target icons, tells me they're probably doing all placements. They're letting the system decide what's working and what's not. And there's no indicator to me of if those ads are being successful for them. And I really want everyone listening to this to understand just because a competitor is running an ad and you see it in the ads library does not mean it's working for them. Okay? They're experimenting just as much as you're experimenting. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks just as much as you are. But do pay attention if they've had ads that have been running for multiple months and then they have new ones as well. Because that says, hey, this is working enough that we're hanging on to it, but we're continuing to mount new ones. But if you go in and see a competitor or an advertiser who has kind of set it and forget it, they've had the same ad running since December 2024 and hasn't touched it.
Right.
Take that as a sign too. It's not necessarily that it's working. They haven't
Just throwing money at it.
they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, kind of the last question in this section, I think it's kind of this what you just said moves into this, is for a small business owner, which of Meta's AI-powered ad features would you recommend that they take advantage of right now?
It's not necessarily which one you're going to take advantage of, which one works for you, which one to choose. They're all baked into the system right now. So they all just have a fancy label, anything called Advantage Plus. Just know that's when it's Meta's AI kind of helping you out along the way. If Meta has a recommendation, generally for most advertisers starting out, take Meta's recommendations. If it wants you to turn on all placements, turn on all placements. If it wants you to expand your audience, expand your audience. Follow their best practices to start, but look at your results of your ads and spot check them. I call it babysitting the ads. Within 24 hours of the ads running, go and look at the results and say, are these hitting men or women? Are they hitting my target age? Are the placements good? If I look at my placements and it's 100% in Facebook Marketplace and your ad is this tiny little postage stamp and has no context with it, is that helping my business? So spot check them, babysit them right out of the gate. And if it's not working for you with Meta's recommendations, then either create a new campaign and tweak those settings and say, you know what, I'm going to go and edit my placements and take out Marketplace, or edit my placements and take out Audience Network, which I would recommend doing regardless. But anyway, you do have some control for the most part. If you're just starting out advertising, or if it's been a while since you've dusted off the ads and gotten back in there, Meta does have your best interests at heart. They do want you to be successful. They do want you coming back to the platform and spending money and putting out high quality ads to connect with your audiences. It's a win-win for everybody. So these tools are meant to help you For the most part, everything from all of the different Advantage Plus things like Advantage Plus Creative, Advantage Plus Budget, which used to be campaign budget optimization. All of it's kind of already built in and already there to help you and already switched on in the system. So you don't really have to do anything. It's just a matter of being a little more responsible right now with your ads while we're in that awkward teenage phase of AI, of taking the time to go and look at the results as you're running the ads to say, is this working? Is this not? Rather than hit the publish button and walk away for a week, right. Coming back and going, I don't know why it didn't work. I just wasted money. So we just need to be a little more vigilant right now.
Gotcha. Something about being vigilant. I forgot to, at the very start of the show, say thank you to our amazing sponsor, Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. You can save 15% by using code Jeff15 for your first purchase. They are what makes this show happen. They are amazing. And by the way, they have their camp coming up soon. I think there's a few tickets left. You can find out more at ecamm.com/camp. Paul, you're going to be there, aren't you, this year?
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of my friends, Amanda's been there before too.
I'm devastated that I won't be there this year. I've gone the last 2 years that they've had it, and it's been one of the most amazing events ever. But this year I'm going to be in Peru during that time.
Well, we'll let you have a pass on that one. But by the way, they opened up. They're doing a camp in the UK next year too, so that will be a fun one as well. So they're amazing people. ecamm.com/Jeff. Go check them out because it's just a great community, a great piece of software to help you do things like this. But not just live shows. You can also do videos for YouTube, whatever you need to do using Ecamm. So make sure to check that out. All right, Paul, I know we're moving on to this publish, measure, and adjust. We're going to get into some nitty-gritty things here, so take it away.
Yeah, so let's talk about somebody who's just starting out. And, I'm in Business Manager every day, and I'm still overwhelmed. So what advice do you have for people starting their first campaign? Or should they start with a boost? Should they start with, engagement campaign, a traffic? Like, how do we get our feet wet and do an ad that's going to get results when we first start?
Oh, love this question. There's nothing wrong with boosting a post. I really want to be clear on that. There is nothing wrong with boosting a post. I call it the training wheels of Facebook ads or Instagram ads. You can hit the promote post button over there. They all go to the same place. It creates an ad in the same place. So you can go into your ads manager and still see all of the ads that you boosted or ads that you created from scratch. It functionally creates the exact same thing. So there's nothing wrong with boosting a post. But it's a great way to dip your toes in the water without having a big commitment and without having to make 300 million decisions. So think about boosting posts like the training wheels. But once we move over into using Ads Manager, think about that like a jet engine. It's a little more complex. We have a lot more tools at our disposal, and it can really supercharge our ability to connect with our audience and get ads in front of the right people. So Ads Manager can sometimes be a little overwhelming for a first-time advertiser because it gives you too many choices, and it gives you too many choices at every stage of the game. So I use a lot of analogies, and the way I like to describe meta advertising is like an organizational chart in a business. So imagine in a business, you have a CEO at the very top, and they make the big decisions of what the company is doing. So when you're advertising, that's what your campaign is. You choose your objective. What are we trying to do with these ads? Are we trying to get traffic to our website? Are we trying to get people to engage? Are we trying to get them to fill out a lead form? What's that CEO big decision? That's our objective. Once you choose that, now we move down the organizational chart and you get into your department managers. Department managers in a company usually get to manage things like how much budget their department gets to spend, what their schedules look like, and in this case, what your placements look like. Where are these ads going to show up? So your department managers are called your ad sets. And then underneath those ad sets, reporting into those ad sets, are your employees, and those are your ads. The employees don't get to make those decisions. They don't get to make any strategic decisions. They just show up, interface with the public, and carry out the work. And sometimes you have employees that are really good at performing, and sometimes you have employees that are not. So sometimes you have ads that are really good performers, and sometimes you have ads that are not. You can fire them and let them go. And you can take all that budget and you can give it to the ads that are performing well. That's what the power of Ads Manager gives us the ability to do. If you're boosting a post, behind the scenes, it's creating that one CEO, one department manager, and one employee. How do you know if that one employee is a top performer or a low performer? you've got nothing to compare it to. So you're kind of like blindly hoping this is going to go well. Whereas if you're using Ads Manager, you have more control over saying, you know what, I've got one objective, but I have two different audiences that I want to send this to, and we're going to tweak the placements. For example, I might have one ad set that's going to Facebook only and one ad set that's going to Instagram only. And then you have different ad creative reporting into those ad sets that you have a little more control over. And over time, the budget is going to roll over onto the ads that are higher performers, and it's going to restrict the budget off of the ones that are lower performers. So your budget can be a lot more efficient using Ads Manager and being more strategic about it versus just boosting a post. And what I tell people is, if you are boosting posts, it adds up quick. Like, pretend you boosted a post for $25 this week and $25 next week and then $25 a week after. If you're spending more than $250 a month on ads, $250 to $500 a month, and you're boosting posts, it's time to get into Ads Manager. It's time to start making all of those dollars work for you, not some of those dollars work for you. So again, I really want to stress, there's nothing wrong with boosting a post. It gets you a little more comfortable with the concept of advertising. It gets you in front of people, and it's a really good tool that doesn't overwhelm you and make you pull your hair out and go, I can't do this. I assure you, you can do this. But Ads Manager is where you need to graduate into for sure.
That is one of the best explanations I've heard. That's going to be a YouTube clip right there. That's great, Amanda. Thank you for that. That was good.
Thank you.
I do want to talk about really quick and get really practical, because I like to do this, because Paul and I run a mastermind. A lot of what we're working through right now is creating a tiny offer, and then that is, we're using Facebook ads to boost that, to get that out to people. Paul really likes to use lead ads. Is that correct, Paul? Is that what you like to use? So can you talk about the best way for small business owners to find, do all this stuff and set it up correctly right from the get-go? You mentioned the importance of landing pages, because actually Facebook goes in, looks at that landing page, make sure it's working and it's correct and all that kind of stuff. So can you talk about and give some advice for maybe people who are dipping their toes in for the first time, setting up maybe a little tiny offer funnel?
So I just want to kind of connect this question back to the previous question as well, and the different types of campaigns to run. Where do you start? How do you know which ones to use? Traffic or leads or engagement? Those different objectives come with different costs behind them. So the more you are asking people to do, or the more information you're asking from people, the more expensive your ads get. It's just the cost of doing business. If I want to keep people on Meta's platform and just ask for them to engage with the post and keep them in the experience and not send them off to any other destination, that's going to be a lot less expensive than if I'm asking people to click a link and leave Meta's platform and go to a website. That's going to cost me a little bit more money. Or we take it one step further. If I want to collect your email address, your name, any additional information, I want your data, that's going to cost even more money, because that's so highly valuable to a business owner. So if you have a business that's coming in fresh into advertising and saying, okay, I want to run lead ads, which is essentially a form where people fill out their name and email, any other questions you want. So if I'm trying to collect your data and use a lead form, whether I'm doing that through Meta's built-in forms or sending it to my website and collecting it from there, there's a higher cost involved in that. And if you're an advertiser going in, let's ballpark on the very conservative end that let's pretend that it costs about $1 per lead. Well, if you're just getting into advertising, you're like, okay, I have $100 to work with. And if your ads are firing on all cylinders and they are the best quality ads and everything is working, you might get 100 leads out of that. But those ads, the nature of how lead ads deliver, they're going to deliver to a much smaller audience, and they're going to be a lot more repetitive. So you're going to get out in front of the same people 3, 4, 5 times. So it's a very small audience of people, small segment you're reaching. You're spending a lot of money to do it, and you're trying to capture the attention span of them. If you're in business and you spent that same $100 and you did that on a reach ad or even on an engagement ad, that $100 can help you reach thousands and thousands. Let's pretend 5,000 to 10,000 people that you could be reaching with that $100. You're not getting their name and email address. You're not getting their information. But if you're just starting out, it's so much more important to get on people's radar and be shown in front of people. So I run into this quite a lot when new advertisers come to me and they say, I'm spending so much money and nothing's happening. And we take a little step back and we look at, okay, well, how many people have you been reaching with your content organically and through ads? And we look at that and we're like, well, you've reached less than 5,000 people in this last month. And we're all competing for attention span.
Right.
Whereas instead, if we had the approach where we had a business that's coming in, starting with reach ads, we just need to get in front of as many accounts as possible with high quality content. Then we layer on getting people to click to go to a website, and then we layer on, okay, now that we have 30,000 people that we've been reaching, then we have 2,000 people who have been clicking. Now I'm going to start running lead ads, and those lead ads are more likely to hit the people who've already been engaging with us at a lower cost and acquire the information and data we're looking for. So if we're going out of the gate and we haven't established an audience yet, and we are not reaching a high volume of people, and we're just going straight in for the ask,
Right.
good luck. Sometimes for some businesses that can work well. For most of us, it's just a long, expensive learning journey to say, okay, finally, I do need to put the actual work in to creating high quality content that my potential audience actually wants to consume. So
Gotcha.
there's a lot of factors involved.
Gotcha.
So when you're getting started like that, what's the best use of our budget, and how do we break down our budget? Are we spending, $10 a day, $20 a day, and are we doing it, creating a funnel? I've heard that before. You want to create like the cold traffic, and then like you were talking about earlier, retargeting. So like if we have $150 a month to spend, how do we know how to break that down?
If you're spending $150 a month, I would keep people on the platform. That's what I would consider a very small budget. Generally, when you're running a campaign, you can spend as little as $1 US a day, which, by the way, is about $1.30 Canadian. So that's your minimum. So that's the lowest. But I wouldn't run a campaign trickling out at $1 a day if you don't have something that's proven and working. That's a very low amount. I would ballpark around $5 a day as sort of a lower end amount. So that run campaigns, run for short stints, run something for a week, and then get an idea of, is that working? And then iterate and take what you learn from that, run a new campaign for a week and learn from that. But that 150 will go pretty quick. But to get the best bang for your buck at that conservative of a budget, I would say keep people on the platform. You'll do better at getting in front of more eyeballs and connecting with people that way, and using it as a tool to start conversations to then get them into your other marketing channels in other ways. If you had, say, $500 a month to spend, then okay, let's do, say, a couple $100 of that in reach campaigns just to get in front of as many people as we can. Then let's maybe use another $200 of that in traffic campaigns to get people to click to go to the website. They show up in different placements. They're primed for different placements. So when I'm asking for a reach campaign, it's going to show up in certain ways. If I'm asking for a traffic campaign, it's going to put it in different places that people are more likely to click. They're a little more expensive though, so I'm not going to reach as many people with that. And then I might be able to use the last 100 for doing some retargeting to get back out in front of them with a tiny offer or something that's very easy and no-brainer. But even on $500 in spend, I'm not expecting you to have a fully layered funnel strategy. It's a touch point. Meta is a really, really good tool at introducing people to your brand and to your business, but you need to have other marketing channels in place to do the heavy lifting. Whereas if you came to me and said, well, I have a $15,000 a month budget, let's go. I'm like, oh, we can do this. We can be running simultaneously lots of reach and lots of traffic campaigns. And the reason I haven't touched on conversion campaigns or sales campaigns is because for the majority of the people that we're talking to right now are small business owners. Some of you have services, some of you do sell products, but when we start tipping into a sales campaign where we want to make sales, it's such a wonderful tool, especially if you have it connected to Shopify or WooCommerce or any type of existing sales platform that plays really nice with Meta. It's already integrated to know when a sale or an add to cart or a checkout has happened. It's wonderful. But you need to be able to make at least 50 of those conversions or sales or whatever the thing is you're asking for. You have to achieve 50 of them in a 7-day period of time. Otherwise, the platform doesn't have enough data to exit the learning phase. What that means is Meta's still trying to figure out, I'm serving these ads in front of this audience over here. Is this working? I don't know. I'm still learning. Okay, well, let's serve it to this audience over here. Is that working? I don't know. We're not getting enough sales data to really know without a doubt. Yes, this is who your audience is. This is who we're going to serve these ads to. So if you are making more than 50 conversions or 50 sales or 50 of the thing that you're asking for, if you're using a sales or a conversion campaign, then yeah, absolutely. You need to be using those features, and don't bother with traffic campaigns and all that. Don't bother with all these extra layers. You're just wasting your time and money. Just go straight in for it. You're fine. But the majority of business owners spending small amounts of money on the platform are not cranking out 50 sales a week.
Right.
So that's where, again, all these things have a balance and lots of choices involved. But if you're just starting out, just start small. You don't need to have a giant funnel with reach and retargeting and all the fancy bells and whistles. You really don't. You just need to find something that gets you in front of a high volume of people who are proactively taking an action, which is called an engagement. So if you log into your Meta Business Suite, which you can get to by going to business.facebook.com, go bookmark that. It's your best friend, business.facebook.com.
Right.
If you log into your business suite and you look at your overall numbers, look at how many people your content is reaching and look at how many people are engaging. And I don't care if it's via ads or via organic. If you are reaching a lot of people and they're not engaging, your content isn't hitting the mark, and we need to tweak that. If you're reaching a ton of people and they're engaging, great, because that's going to do more for your brand than trying to get super fine-tuned on ads to collect a handful of email addresses that are going into a separate system that you also need to have firing on all cylinders and working to your advantage. So it's all just one tool in your marketing tackle box.
So you brought this up, and I want to talk about this because once again, this is for me. it's free consulting. So one of my goals is to grow my email list, because I do a usually a twice weekly email. I want to grow my email list. That is my goal. Is there a way for me to do that effectively on Facebook
Yes.
using ads? Okay, what would you suggest?
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. I'm working with a lawyer in Louisiana right now. She's amazing, and she has a PDF cheat sheet on what to do if you get into a wreck in Louisiana and the police don't show. Apparently that's a thing. Apparently that happens. So she's got this PDF cheat sheet, and this appeals to everybody in the state that drives a vehicle. So it has a wide appeal. It has a good curiosity hook, and people are clicking on that lead ad, filling out their information. They're getting that PDF download right on the spot, and it's growing her email list. And then from there, we have a regular email cadence going out that is continuing that engagement on. So that's an example of a system that's working well. So in your case, as long as you have something that appeals to a wide audience, I wouldn't be trying to grow your email list with a really hyper specific niche piece. I would find the thing that is an absolute no-brainer and a thing that builds that curiosity, gets people to click. You have to stop the scroll. Whatever you're doing has to be enough to capture that attention to get that initial click. And then from there, people can carry on. But absolutely, Meta can be a fantastic tool at growing that email list. My one caution that I would give you is that just because you're getting email addresses doesn't mean they're the right people. So again, it all loops back to when you're running those ads, you really need to babysit or spot check those ads right out of the gate to make sure, are they delivering to the right age group? Are they delivering to the right demographic? Are they delivering to the right state or the right region? Because that's another fun one too, where they decide to deliver where you weren't expecting. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So spot check that, because if you just start spending all this money, you're like, oh, I'm getting lead ads. I'm getting email addresses. My email list is growing. It's all well and good, but if it's not the right people, you're just wasting time and money to begin with.
So I wanted to bring Paul into this conversation because of, he's got this 1 million+ Facebook group. But he also has a very successful, I would say, lead ads campaign. So Paul, tell kind of what you're doing, and I'd love to have Amanda, talk about it and say why it's good, maybe some ways to make it better. So talk about that really, really quick as we wrap things up.
Yeah. So I've been using lead ads to, get people to fill out the form and get on my email list. I'm using whether you are a first timer and what to expect at your first powwow, or if you're just looking to find a powwow near you. Those are kind of my two hooks that get people into that. And then we're also using some mini chat, like, text or comment so-and-so, and then I get you on the email list. So that's how we're doing it. And one of the things I'm always curious about, are they the right people? And how do I kind of narrow that down and continue to focus it so I do get the right people?
And that's going to require a lot of understanding of what your definition of the right people are and how that looks. So you could always run some isolated tests. So for example, with the lawyer client that I was just talking about, when we were taking all of her leads and bringing it into her email system, we were keeping that we were keeping them completely separate from the rest of her email addresses. So we were running separate campaigns to understand, what does their open rate look like? So if I'm pouring a whole bunch of leads in from Facebook, am I getting a 30% or more open rate, or am I getting a 10% open rate? What does that look like? So you can always run these as little batch tests where you bring those leads into your email marketing system, but you tag them in a unique way, or you find a way to isolate them, run separate campaigns to them, and then compare that against your other open rates to see, are they the right people? Are they not? So that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I'm really curious to hear how, I want to understand which one you're having better success with, the lead forms versus chat leading to collecting a lead. Because I've typically found that chat has been a little more expensive and a little clunky at times.
Yeah, I'm still trying. That one I've always been doing maybe a couple of weeks. I've been doing the lead ads for months, maybe over a year. And those, I'm finding good success in getting people into it. The open rates and the click-through rates are not as good for those people as a normal subscriber, but I'm collecting leads at a very low rate. So I'm okay if a few of them unsubscribe or whatever, because it's still turning out to that I'm collecting some. So that's what I've been trying to do, is just do it in mass, and hopefully that, half of them are good, right?
So how big is your email list, Paul? Just you tell people the size of that, just so they have an idea.
It's about 120,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a different level.
How much does it cost you to maintain that number?
That's not a pretty number.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, and that's another motivation as to why you want to get the right people on it.
Yes.
Because you're paying for every one of those email addresses to acquire it, and you're paying to keep it on the list. But I would be very interested, because you're promoting events nationally. Is that right?
U.S. and Canada.
U.S. and Canada. So are you segmenting or segregating your list, or is it just they're getting a blanket of, it doesn't matter if you live in Canada or the U.S., you're getting the one weekly email that has everything on it?
Yes, it's more than once a week, but yes, you're getting that email. Yes.
Yeah. Because I wonder if you were able to do some experiments where you ran some lead ads to isolate a certain area, like say British Columbia in Canada, because we have a much higher awareness of Indigenous populations here compared to Ontario or New Brunswick, for example. So I wonder if you were to run some isolated tests where you could isolate a province or isolate a state, tag them in your email marketing system, and then run specific things specifically about that province or that state to them, and see if that spikes retention rates or what that looks like overall.
I've experimented doing it with California, and it did okay. But interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought about doing British Columbia or some of the provinces. That's a good idea.
See, that's what all this show is all about. It's helping Paul figure out his problems, and myself. So this has been a fascinating...
rename the show Helping Paul.
That's right. So this has been a fascinating talk. We are at the end of time. Amanda, I could go on forever because I think this is fascinating. I think as it gets more and more noisy out there, being very strategic in your ads and your ad buy is going to become more and more important. And thank you for people like you who keep us up to date on all this stuff that changes. Where can people find out, your courses, your community, where you're speaking at? Where can people find all things Amanda Robinson?
All the things at The Digital Gal on every platform. So on Facebook or Instagram, The Digital Gal, thedigitalgal.com. That's definitely where you can find me. Reach out, connect with me. If you have any interest in learning how to do your own Facebook and Instagram advertising, I have a program called Swift Kick in the Ads. And it's a wonderful community where we can help get you up and running without you paying the costs of a high-end consultant to do it for you. So The Digital Gal, everywhere.
Awesome. And where can people find the amazing Paul Gowder?
PaulGowder.com. That's where, I'm putting all that stuff. I appreciate it. And of course, if you're looking to go to your first powwow, just head on over to powwows.com.
Awesome.
They're open to the public. Yeah.
And by the way, if you would like to join our amazing email community, we've talked about it before, you can go to jeffc.com/news. We put out some fun, and we have a great community over there at the newsletter, jeffc.com/news. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Ralph. But mostly Disney came in late. Peter Fennell said, first time here. Thank you for showing up, Pete. I appreciate that. Everybody who watched, Cast Ahead, Chris Stone, everybody, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Amanda, for once again being an amazing guest. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank